And we are on. I believe we're
Are
on.
we?
Yep.
Ish.
Looks like we're on.
Oh, yes. I have to have the right screen up for that to work. Okay. All right. Now we are on to vignette number 3. I feel like I've said vignette an obscene amount of times today. Like, it's not one of those words you ever really use, but I almost feel pompous for saying it. Vignette, vignette, vignette.
It's not a word that is in my regular vocabulary, that's for sure. I think the only
No.
time I've ever said it is to you.
Well, I feel like we have grown together. I
And
think of the word obulette from Labyrinth and like from ancient Middle Eastern like torture rooms. Obulette, obulette. When I
I,
say vignette.
I hope this doesn't turn into that.
Well, let me throw my notes out then. Uh, so, just like the other two, we're going to pick up the next day, the ninth day, first thing in the morning, 8 a.m. ish. You've just recently left Drakthar's way. You got Auric out. You took Drakthar out and secured their bodies. You spent the afternoon doing a few things, and then you crashed for the night. Waking up the next day, you are now a fifth level fighter. Talk to me
Hooray.
about a fifth level fighter. This is a
Fifth.
big one, I think, for you.
It's a big one, but it is all encompassed by one thing and one thing only: the extra attack. So fifth level, you can, when you take the attack action, you can attack twice. So with his pole master, or was it pole arm master feat, he will take two attacks with one end of the stick and a third attack with the butt end of the stick.
With the
So
handle.
yeah,
All right. Anything else at level 5 for you? Like your special class or archetype? Anything features there?
nope, that's literally the only thing
That's
is the extra attack.
that's a pretty big bump.
It is. It's nice, and I was been thinking about making some changes to Faerzan. Um, his the maneuvers that he gets, you can swap them out. Um, there's a mechanic for swapping them out,
Okay.
but I think right now they're okay. I haven't landed a single trip attack, but it is very powerful. Like if I can lead with a trip attack and then get two more attacks, action surge, and two more attacks. All with that would be four attacks at advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. I could
You know,
that would definitely be the way to end a fight for sure.
yeah, it might be a way to start one. Uh,
You yeah, start and finish yeah, in one round.
yeah,
I know you had mentioned at one point you were wanting to do possibly some retraining as far as like your weapon style, fighting style. Is that still something you're wanting to consider?
yeah. And I the downtime is probably the time to talk about that too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So his, let's see, what level? I guess it's at level one. You get the fighting style, and I chose out of the gate the great weapon fighting,
Uh-huh.
and so that re-rolls a one or a two, and then you have to reuse that. And I didn't even realize it was in use because I had forgotten about it. But um, Beyond 20 takes care of that. So when I've been rolling, it's got the special syntax in the roll, and it just does it. So
I love the fact that you mixed Roll 20 and D&D Beyond and came up with Beyond 20.
did I?
That's actually perfect. It's exactly what we have as Beyond 20.
Like actually the D&D Beyond and and Roll 20, there's a Chrome extension called Beyond 20.
Oh, really?
And so yeah, so
Wow.
when I'm in D&D Beyond, I have extra little buttons on and when I click on my character sheet, it rolls it in Roll 20.
I gotcha. Okay.
So
Well, see,
that's the reason it looks.
I assumed you were creative. Silly me.
I didn't actually mean to say Beyond 20. I
Yeah.
don't think, because I wasn't talking about that. But yes, um, Roll 20 gets its gets the roll syntax like the dice and the rerolls and all that stuff from D&D Beyond via Beyond 20. And it's all been automatic, but you know, I I think that changing from the um, great weapon, great weapon fighting, the rerolling the damage to the defense
Uh-huh.
fighting style, so that it would lose some damage overall, but it would be gaining a +1 to his AC.
Which in 5e +1 AC is very significant,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
considering like old dragons have armor classes in the low 20s. So yeah, that is a pretty big deal. All right. Obviously, can't retrain in a day, but
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we'll discuss that in our downtime uh, actions, as it were. But let's talk about a day in the life of Faerzan. Um, it's the day after. It's raining like flood season. What do you want to do today? I know you had a couple of ideas of things you want to do. What's on the agenda?
So since it is the next day, the first thing would be on his mind is the long staff that he had commissioned.
Oh yeah, it's ready today.
Yes,
Yes.
hooray!
All right.
So he would go
So
over to the smith. Is it smith, a weaponsmith, or a forge or blacksmith?
he's a blacksmith. I believe he knew who to outsource it
Okay.
to get because it's well, no, it's an not iron shot, but you had taken the links from the chain golem
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and used those. So no, he took care of it. Um,
Yeah, in my mind, it would be, a little, a quarterstaff, a 6 foot quarterstaff doesn't have any reinforcements, but a 10 foot quarterstaff would be a little thicker. And then since he is, stronger, those chain links would become metal bands around the ends to give it, that masterwork quality, give it a little bit more thump.
yeah,
you know,
heavier on the end,
yeah.
more sturdy handle to thunk people over the head with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. All right. So you head down to the uh, place that just completely vacated from my mind.
Blacksmith.
Blacksmith. God, yes. Head down to the blacksmith. Um, walk inside, and I believe you met this guy before. You met him, I think, on the first day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Khaldun came here as well, wanted to talk to somebody, wanted to talk to a blacksmith and possibly use their forge. But you go inside, and he busy at work, working on some other contraption. Sees you walk in and sets down his hammer, stands up. Ha! Come on in. I finished your stick. He walks over. This is a dwarf. I don't know if you remember or not. He's a dwarven forge. Uh, Gurnzorn walks over, picks up its in his hands. It's, I mean, like he's holding it like, you know, cradling it like a giant baby, and it carries it over to you, hands it to you. Give it a swing. See what you think.
Okay. And so Farazan will take a few steps back. Maybe, I mean, if it's a dwarven forge, there's probably a low ceiling, so he may even step out into uh, into the walkway, the roadway there, and give it a few solid, like, long arching swing. Those quarterstaff, I've seen people fight with them, and they don't just hold it in the middle and strike. They will use it as a reach weapon. So that's why I'm calling it a long staff. Is he uses it as a reach weapon from time to time. So he doesn't just, you know swing like the what's the American Gladiators, the pugilist
The pugil stick, the giant
thing.
Q-tips.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He doesn't just swing it like that, but he'll reach and jab with it and do those long arcing um, strikes with it. And that's it being a master weapon. It's probably freaking good at this.
it is, and the balance is perfect.
Okay.
And just a quick note on what you were talking about earlier about it being a dwarven forge. This is Cauldron, and this area of Orith, of Greyhawk. It's very human centric. So yes, he's a dwarf, but he's working in a human size um, forge. Just to kind of reiterate and remind you of the fact that like non-humans are 1% of the population in this town. So just a reminder of that.
Okay.
Give
Okay.
you a visual. You walk in expecting a dwarven place, but it's just a master blacksmith dwarf working in a human town.
Okay. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So he did. Yeah. So still, I don't know if there would be quite enough room, but he'll find
Sure. I mean,
find a spot to do it. He won't.
you got a big stick.
Yeah. He won't destroy the roof or knock the supports down for the uh, for the rafters or anything like that. But he, um, since he has not paid for it, he will
Mhm.
actually, offer it back to him, and say, "It is a fine weapon. How
I know.
much do I owe you?"
He takes it. Well, you made it, I will admit, easier by giving me the chains to use, which I can tell they're magic because whenever I try to infuse them into the wood, they sometimes would move on their own. Very, very strange.
Hmm.
Um, how much did I quote you?
I have no idea. I don't remember. Jamie doesn't remember.
In that case, 10,000 gold.
Unfortunately, you'll have to
He,
keep that
he,
stick for a while.
he chuckles. uh, I believe we agreed on 100 gold pieces.
Very good. And he kind of starts counting.
Coppers.
I guess it's
I will
silvers,
need
right?
you to roll that, please. Yeah, silver. Yep. So basically 1,000 silver pieces,
Okay.
and you get the money transaction complete. What do you think? Feel all right?
I, if it is as fine as a weapon as I've ever held, to be honest.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I do plan to, um, have the folks at the Blue Crater Academy see if they can further enhance it at some point. But for now, this is a wonderful weapon that will uh, help defend this town, this city.
Hey, when you say that at the Blue Crater, well, why? Why are you going there?
I assume that the wizards and academics there would be able to add magic to this. Are you able to do that?
I don't know. What do you want to add to it?
Just enforce it even further so that it will strike harder and strike truer. I've heard I have not held a an enhanced weapon, but uh, I do wish that this to become one. And obviously, game mechanics terms, just wanting
Plus,
to
plus
turning
one
into
weapon.
a +1 or yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hell, I could do that.
Ah, what is that going to cost me?
Well, uh, you've already got it. It's already great quality. Normally, I would charge right around 5,000 silver. Um, I've heard of you though, and I heard what you do with those kids. I'll charge you 4,000 silver.
And what is the turnaround time on such an endeavor?
Mm, for 4,000 silver, I will put it on my medium priority. Probably get it done in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Ah,
Which you've talked to Khaldun about some of the items he's had him created. One of them took about a month, so not too bad. It's about average, what you would think.
yeah. Yeah. I'm wanting to use the things.
I know. We were talking about that, I think, off air when you're like, I keep upgrading it so much that I never get to use it.
Never get to use it. Yeah.
Be level 20 with like this god of a weapon that this dwarf has made over the past 8.5 days.
Yeah. um. Well, I
Sorry,
guess
it does take time.
he says, "Are there enough of the chain left over to make a second weapon of this size?"
What do you have in mind?
you making a second one of this quality, but with the magical enhancements, and I take this one and uh, beat back the beasts and thugs of this city.
So basically, you want another one from scratch, but
Yes.
magic. It's gonna be. I mean, the total price will be 5,000 silver.
Okay.
That's with a discount. I mean, 100 for the masterwork staff, and then 4,000 for the enchantment. Normally, it's 6,000 silver. Just,
he
just saying.
he looks at it and kind of spins it a few times, just kind of idly in his hands there, and says, "I tell you what, I'll come back in another time and have this done, but at this point, I think I need to get used to this one before I commit to the enhancements."
He waves his hand. Shoot yourself.
So, says, "Thank you very much," and he will hand him the 1,000 gold or 1,000 silver. Yeah, 100 gold pieces.
It actually was my pleasure. Come back anytime. You want to chat that thing? Come here first. I guarantee you my workmanship for a weapon will be much better than the Blue Crater Academy.
It says, "I do apologize. I was not aware of your capabilities, but you will be my first visit."
Excellent. Apology accepted.
So he goes to he turns, and then light bulb goes on over his head. And he turns back
That's
around.
flammable. Be careful.
And he says, "What about armor? Do you make or have any armor my size, full plate?"
No, I don't have it available in stock. I mean, you're weird. But I could take what I have and modify it. Be a lot quicker than making it from scratch. A lot cheaper. Well, it won't be cheaper. It'll cost. Be a lot. Well, won't be cheaper. Yeah, I can either make you a suit from scratch if you like, or take some set that I have and modify it. I will tell you, if I'm making from scratch, it will take time. Obviously, making armor doesn't happen overnight, and it'll be just standard price, 15,000 silver. If I modify the armor, it's going to cost as much as the armor plus the modification prices. Lots quicker, but it'll cost you about another 5,000 silver.
Grief.
So basically 20,000 silver instead of 15,000. But you get it in a week versus a month.
Right. Let me look at the things that.
Checking your bank account.
Yeah, checking.
Have I paid my rent yet? Let me get back to you next pay period.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. No, I've only got 1,100 gold pieces. We didn't go through and divvy up the loot that we got the other day.
Well, if you want to get me started on it, you don't have to pay it all at once. You can give me a down payment. I'll get working. Not everybody's got all the money all at once. I won't charge any extra for delay in payment, but I will need a down payment. Okay. Materials and such.
And as far as the we went to the magic shop some sessions ago. I don't remember this, but did the
Skies?
Yeah, this is Jamie. Did she have any
this
armor at all?
Yeah, she did. Skies Emporium.
Yeah.
Let me switch gears. Hang on.
Okay.
Let's see. So she had, in game terms, all of this is +1, right? Scale mail, chain mail, shield, steel shield, a kukri, a mace, a longsword, a scimitar, a dagger, and leather armor. Each of those available They're 500 gold apiece. She, well, you haven't been back to her since, but um, 500 gold apiece, and they're like in stock and available immediately. And I think we discussed it, or if I haven't already, I have always been under the impression that you're considered a medium creature,
Okay.
right? I mean, you are. You're not
Yeah.
considered large by game mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, thematic says you're a foot taller than most, and blah blah blah. So I'm not going to penalize you um, for any of that stuff. That's why, like, if he makes armor for you, it's going to be the cost of
Hmm.
regular, normal size armor. Um, all of the armor, magical armor, does resize to fit you being a little bigger, but you're medium. So at the end of the day, medium armor fits you, even though you're a big, freaking massive dude, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense? I
Okay.
don't want to penalize you for picking a race that's bigger than, like, thematically bigger than a dwarf, which is a medium creature as well. So any of the magical armors you find that are for a medium creature, they're going to fit you.
Okay. Okay. That's
Okay.
fair.
Or if they're for sale or whatever, if you find them, they will fit you.
Okay. Um,
Magic.
magic ones. Yep. Okay. That's fair. Now the only thing I think in the equipment list that's better than the splint mill is plate. It's full plate. Half plate is actually a little worse. I didn't realize that it was worse than splint mail.
Well, full plates, like the cream de la creme. It's the best there is
Yeah.
in all the armor types. There are enough differences to where, okay, so yeah, you got splint, you got plate, which is essentially full plate. Um, it's a point difference, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper. I think, honestly, it's a point of armor difference. None of the other statistics are really any different. It's a little bit lighter than plate. It still has a strength requirement and disadvantage on stealth.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Faerzan will tell what was his name? Gersman?
Gurnzarn, yeah, Gurnazarn.
Gernzarn. I'm sure it's pronounced some
I know it's completely different than that. I was saying Langerhans, and one time Mike hears it and he's like, "Oh, that sounds like it should be this," and I'm like, "You're absolutely correct." Yeah,
Well, when you spelled it out, it has the
Farfignugan.
yeah, that's
Yes,
the one.
and Lawn like Vaughn. Yeah, didn't see that.
So
Anyway,
yeah, so Faerzan will tell him that at this time I think that I will just take the staff and go, but I will revisit you once my coffers are a bit fuller.
well, I hope that my coffers get a bit fuller when that happens too. Of
Says, "Thank you very much, Sir Dwarf."
of course, do come back.
Absolutely, and he will turn and go. The other thing, um, I don't know that hmm, I don't know that I had any other like shopping or anything like that I wanted to do. The only other thing that I can think of that Farazan would do is there an open area like a well probably the monastery is down the hill, but is there an open area where Farazan could do some training?
Well, actually, yeah, there is the Temple of Lordly Might, which is a one of the four temples in Cauldron dedicated to the god Cord,
Okay.
who is the god of combat and fighting. And essentially, it's a small worship area
Mm-hmm.
and a giant freaking arena. That's where they hold all kinds of, like, the Olympics or any kind of friendly competition. They have gladiatorial games on a regular basis.
Hmm.
Actually, you've heard that during the Flood Festival, they have a competition, a gladiatorial competition, not to the death, obviously. The priests of Cord are there to heal those that may have taken a hit a little too hard than they should have. Um, but all are welcome to join and attempt to win the gladiatorial games. But yes, absolutely. Anybody that wants to come and practice their martial prowess is welcome at the Church of Cord without question and without cost.
Okay.
I sound like I was just a commercial selling that. That'll be on the next
Town crier.
town crier.
Yeah, that's what I
Come
was
on
thinking.
down to the Temple of Cord.
Yeah, that would be a good place for him to visit. Um, and he'll put the new long staff through its paces. So
All
striking
right.
a few fighting dummies. If he can find someone to spar with, uh, definitely definitely do that.
Do we have the map up? I'm not sure if I've revealed. Where are you?
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm looking to see if I've revealed in the key um, the Temple of. Holy crap! Where is it? Anyway, oh, okay, there it is. It's actually listed as the Temple of Gorham because this was converted. Blah blah blah. It's in the western. It's number 25. That is the Temple of Cord. I'm using a map that was converted to something else that was not Greyhawk, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, Temple of Cord is on Obsidian Avenue in the westernmost kind of southwestern area of Cauldron.
Okay. And I believe the blacksmith shop was in the eastern quadrant, so he'll make his way around to the Temple of Cord.
Yeah, and that's 24 was let me let's go ahead and I haven't revealed that for some reason. Yeah, got Gurnazorn Smithy. Right. Why are you being awful? Reveal areas like you're smart. There we go. Gurnazarn's Gurnazarn. Yeah, see that sounds right. Gurnazarn Smithy. It is almost completely directly across town from the Temple of Lordly Might. So that's where you're heading. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Head over to the temple, and again, like I said, you walk up to it and you think more Roman Colosseum than church. The front doors are wide open. You step inside, and there's a nice front foyer area that's obviously well kept by the priests that stay here. But you can hear the sound of fighting and combat off to your left. You walk around the corner, and you see out in the yard in the mud because it's not a covered coliseum. It's basically like God bless you. Cord says kill something. Um, you see several groups of people out fighting among them, and you see this one man who's walking among them and obviously giving out pointers. Or somebody gets hit, you see him lay a hand and they heal up, and it's obviously the priest of Cord, and he's a half orc.
Okay.
And he sees you walking out to the fighting grounds. Eyes arch, he walks over to you. Welcome. What is your name, sir? What may your name be?
Says, "Good morning. My name is Faerzan."
Faerzan Masfelker. I am the high priest of Cord in this city. Um, welcome. You are always welcome here. It looks as though you've hit something before. And he's a big guy, but you still have a head. You're still a head taller than he is.
Right. What was his name, Master?
My name is Asfelkir. Asfelkir. You can see it emblazoned on my chest. I got off work fixing trucks an hour ago. But he big, like jaw tusks jutting out of his mouth. Probably more orc than human, on that little genetic trait side. Um, but very bright and open and cheery.
Okay.
Glad to see you. Like and he there's practice dummies, things you can swing your stick at.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
once he greets you, he heads back over. You need me, you let me know. If you get hurt, I'll fix you up. And he walks back over, and you can see him start to, give pointers again. No, get that foot back. Get your hands up. Widen your stance. Stuff like that.
Okay. Just before he walks away, Farazan will ask, "Is there a formal right to getting a sparring partner or challenging someone and to a fight so that we can practice together.
No, just ask.
Okay.
There's no formalities. It's understood that you're not trying to kill each other, so don't try to kill somebody. Um, if you do hurt somebody, stop, let the fight end. If it's needing of healing, I'll come take care of it, or one of the other acolytes will take care of it. Should you knock somebody out, the fight is over. Otherwise, sportsmanship is highly encouraged. And if you ever need a few pointers, I'll be around. If I see a stance that's off, I'm happy to help. And he sounds just like me because he sounds like his mouth is full of something.
It's rough. He's so Faerzan will give a short little bow and says, "Thank you, master."
Please, I am not a master. I appreciate the reverence. I appreciate the you did say master, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Appreciate the reverence, appreciate the respect. But I would prefer you call me Asfilker.
I will try.
That's all I ask. He smiles and pats you on the shoulder. Now go get some sweat. He heads back out like a coach.
Okay.
Pat you on the butt, blows a whistle. You know.
Good game.
Good game. Good game.
So yeah, Faerzan will try to find a spot kind of off to the side. That's again, that being a long staff, the reach weapon, to go through a couple of katas. So I see his fighting style is a bit more of the using a martial art type thing because the original concept of him was a monk.
Yeah.
So I do see him as a bit more controlled than just screaming and swinging sort of thing. So like and the other thing is since he got the staff with this new level, I kind of feel like that's what leads him to moving faster. To be able to take those two attacks, he swings it and thinks, oh, this is really great and really, really well balanced. So then he just swings around again and takes the second attack with it. So,
So he's kind of attributing it to the weapon, not his own personal skill at this point, since it's a brand new weapon.
Yeah. I mean, it's the first few swings with it. He's he swings it and it feels natural to just let it keep coming around and going again with the other end. So or with the same end. He's been going whack whack, but now he whack whack whack. So lots of lots of air movement around him as he kind of learns the feel of the new thing. And I assume that it's a bit heavier, and even though he is pretty strong, he is putting his kind of the leverage behind that he can create with his long frame, and it's just woof, as he's swinging the thing around.
It's like cutting a line in the rain. It stops it for a second, then continues on,
and then falls. But I do see him like as he's feeling the balance of it, and this kind of goes back to the retraining to the new fighting style. He doesn't feel the need to swing it quite as hard. He just thinks that the weapon in its form and as his skill has grown, he can just allow it to let it do its own work. That he's going to hit a little bit more accurately, but he's not going to swing it as hard. That's in my mind. That's how he is going to start retraining from the great weapon fighting to the defense. He's going to keep his balance a little bit more so that he can pull it back and block an extra shot, an extra attack here and there. But yeah, he plans his attacks and strikes a little bit more in an effort to be able to block with it. Those metal bands along the staff are now they would better deflect a sword or an axe or something like that coming at him. He can use it a bit more freely to defend himself.
Okay. So you're standing over there with the target dummy, and you're going through the motions and the routine that you've done 1,000 times before. The routine you've been doing since you were a kid, learning how to fight. And you hear Asfilker in the in the den of all the other fighting, you're walking over to you.
Okay.
You have definitely been training majority of your life, I can tell, but it looks like you're trying to be offensive and defensive at the same time. And he goes on to like give you an idea of, rather than doing a full swing overhead, take a step back, have your weight on shift your weight this way. And so he's basically like teaching you, instead of going full all out double handed, doing the giant weapon,
Hmm.
re-roll your damage. Try to go weight on your back foot where you're more defensive and hold the staff this way to block. So, and essentially, whenever you decide to do the retraining, you know that Asfilcare could absolutely teach you how to change from great weapon to defensive style.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So he's complimenting you very, very much, especially the speed at which you attack. Basically accounting for the second attack you've just acquired. Um, he cannot. I can't tell you any higher praise than what you're doing. You do something that I can't do. So it would be my honor if you're to give you some pointers. You're welcome here anytime.
He says that is high praise indeed. If you have the when I have the time, I will definitely come here for training.
Well, time is only given to us once. You have the time. You need to make the time.
There are other responsibilities. We have just uh, come from underneath the city, clearing out a band of goblins that are causing trouble. We
I've heard about that.
my friends and I, says I think I can call them friends at this point. My friends and I rescued several children that had been kidnapped.
I know.
Just a few days ago. Those things are a bit more important than learning to swing a stick a little bit better.
Yes, but there are also means to an end. You charged forward into a lair of cowards and kidnappers and thieves, and you rescued children. Cord would be proud to call you a follower. I would be proud to call you a friend. You are welcome here. I will teach you how to be defensive if that's your choice, and it will be my treat.
And he will do the you know plant the staff in one side to him, and the he can't put both hands together because
Yeah,
he'll drop the stick on him,
yeah.
but he'll hold the one in front of him and then
Oh
do
shit!
a
Oh shit!
bow, like a full full bow to him as he was taught in the monastery. I said it will be my honor, master.
And Asfilcare nods his head. Asfilcare, please. There is what one master, and that's Cord. But I'm not here to convert you. I'm here to fight. And he continues on to give you pointers, and he actually asks for pointers from you because you're a fighter. He's a cleric, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you have a lot more martial prowess than he does. So he'll see you do something and just kind of, how did you do that? Like, show me how you did that again.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts training with you and kind of gather a little bit of a crowd. Some of the other people that are there are more like off-duty guardsmen or weekend warriors or people just wanting to get a workout, but they see you working hand in hand with Asfilcare and see him taking pointers from you. They are standing around you, watching you. And every once in a while, they'll throw you another weapon, and like you just take it, and just it's natural to you. You're really best with your staff, but somebody throws you a dagger and you flip it around and show them a couple of moves because I mean any weapon you touch you can do an extra attack, right? You just know how to the flow of combat and how to move your body, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you acquire kind of a crowd while you're there
Okay.
training and talking to the priest.
Okay.
Are you gonna join the gladiatorial games during the Flood Festival?
When When are they scheduled? Do I have time?
Do you have time? I can't answer that question. It's as far as when does it start? I
Yes.
believe it's in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I'm not even sure what today is.
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday. So yeah, a couple of weeks.
Okay. It says then yes, I will. I will partake or participate.
Oh, you can do both.
Where do I
So
sign
it's
up?
hey, yells at another acolyte. Get him a scroll. He's going to sign up for the gladiatorial games. And one of the other younger acolytes runs off and brings it to you, and it's soaking wet, and the ink is from the quill is just draining all over his hand, and you just see Asfalcare just shake his head. Good fighter, not much upstairs. Is there anything else Faerzan is wanting to do today?
Once he's kind of gotten a workout in, I think that and I'm sure that would take take a couple hours or so, there, and then just toward the after a midday, late afternoon meal or something like that, he would probably go down to the pavilion that they
Hmm.
they visited before. And is the water level that high?
It's not to the pavilion per se, but you can tell that it's definitely risen a few feet from its normal
Okay,
water line of the crater.
okay, okay. And so the other one of the other things that he gets as a battle master was those tool proficiencies. So, after he works the the large muscle groups, he would then go and start uh, drawing or painting, and I kind of associate that with the repeated lines of a fighting kata. I see him doing the repeated patterns of drawing. Those are kind of in the same you know same mental discipline sort of thing. So he would go there and sketch or paint or something like that. And after a while, when he kind of gets into the flow and the zone, he probably starts um, trying to draw or render in some paints. His home, the mountain that he's from, the maybe the village that he left or something like that. So, but other than that, he would just be, memories and kind of just putting them down onto the paper underneath the pavilion.
Well, it's nice how you've gone that direction because that's an amazing segue for the history. What do you call it? It's a backstory. It's a
Mm-hmm.
flashback. It's not actually. It's not a flashback, but it's you're drawing these mountains and you're drawing the valley that you're from, the treeless valley among the peaks and the mountaintops. And actually, the scene changes to the actual valley among these peaks. Uh, in the middle is a large village, a road that leads between two of the peaks out of the valley to other cities. The valley's untouched except by necessity of the tribe that lives there and time itself. It's a village of giants, Goliaths. It's the cold season. It's in the northern hemisphere of Orith, close to the top of the world. Families are milling about, completing chores needed to survive. The men, the warriors of the tribe, are taking turns in the makeshift coliseum, more or less, a fighting ring, training yard. There's a large central cabin that serves as the chieftain's house, where the community decisions and weddings and funerals are made and held. In the center of the village, a blackish red, two-dimensional disc slowly starts to form, and it stops expanding around 20 feet in diameter. Stepping out of the gate is an insectoid-looking creature. as it dips its head to emerge from the gate, standing 25 feet tall. Stands upright. It's got a long, almost lizard-like tail behind it, scaly, extended behind, doing a counterweight, swaying back and forth. Its multifaceted bug-like eyes looks, taking in the village, and slowly steps to the side, out of the way of the the portal. All the villagers around, within sight, they freeze what they're doing. They stop, frozen in fear. Afterwards, dozens of small, devil-like horned creatures, red-skinned, pour out of the portal. And they form up two lines, parade lines, in front, standing waiting from the blackish red haze of the door. And then finally, a figure steps from the portal, average size, right around 6 feet tall, wearing pitch black armor, full plate, with spikes that are obviously placed for combat, strategically placed for attacks, defense. The front of the plate mail is open to a bare chest, and emblazoned on the bare chest is a pentagram. And all around the pentagram on the chest of this person is just scar tissue from 1,000 cuts, thousands and thousands of cuts. He steps out, looks around. I will speak with the chieftain. And every tribesman within earshot scrambles to point to the cabin or to voice, oh, he's over there. And it doesn't seem like they're doing this out of fear, but out of just a sheer desire to do what he asks. The armored man calmly walks to the chieftain's hut. Both the guards standing before the hut step away, nodding, eager to please, allowing him in. The man steps in. There's one Goliath sitting inside at a long table. Chief Kaurektimasha. The large man, scarred from wounds of 100 battles, allowed to heal naturally to show his prowess, slowly stands, well over a foot taller than the armed person in front of him. I am doing his best to keep his composure. Taking his helmet off, the armored man reveals a pasty white face, black solid eyes, no pupils, dark red hair that's slicked back that almost resembles a tattoo. It's so close to the skin, and rows of canine teeth that fit perfectly together and come apart when he speaks. I've lost my place. I am the speaker of truths. He slowly steps around the table, and I have been given great purpose. The Goliath, standing there, finds his courage, only growls, I will never serve evil. Half to himself, half to the priest. Sit, the speaker utters, and with the weight of words he cannot fathom, the chieftain sits slowly, but it's as though he wanted to sit the entire time. The man stands behind the Goliath. Most men never consider torture. It's a distant thought, only considered as something that happens to another. This is where they find peace. If they were to ponder the idea, they would only focus on the pain. Few ever realize it's the loss they endure that is the true torture. Loss of will, loss of their joy, their future. He turns to look, staring into the eyes of the Goliath chieftain. Their family, their lineage, their souls. He stands upright. He has a scepter in his hand, and he slings it out, and a blade appears at the end. I am Zael Keth, elder bishop to the Prince of the Nine, viceroy to Orith, and the speaker of truth. He takes the blade and pulls it across his chest, drawing just a stream of blood. Staring at the Goliath, by my blood offering to the Lord of Nessus, Archfiend Asmodeus, you will reveal to me your secrets in this life or the next. I swear this truth. I swear this truth. I swear this truth. The blade sheathes within the scepter. Now, shall we discuss an agreement? The scene shifts outside to the chief's cabin. All of the village stands gathered close together, surrounded by these small devilish features. 3 of the male Goliaths lay splayed out, flayed on the floor, on the snow, among a wash of blood. From within, a scream is heard, followed quickly by crying, and then silence. After a few moments, the 2 men, the speaker and the chieftain, walk out of the hall, the Goliath visibly shaken. You may say your prayers now, chief, if you like. My men will kill you now, as agreed upon. And the chieftain, just shaken, looks. Thank you. The speaker walks away. All the men of the tribe are sitting on their knees, which is about eye level to him. Steps to the first one, looks at the man in his eyes. You are a noble tribe. Zael steps in front of each, staring deeply into their eyes. Steps to the next one, with great honor. Steps to another one, and respect for one another. Steps to the next. But there is always... He looks at the man in front of him, stares deep into his soul. There's always the truth. He steps back, pulls out the scepter again, shooting a blade out, draws it down across his chest again. I summoned you, Tarath Cthulhu, with the offering of the blood of a prince and the soul of a betrayer. Do my bidding. The Goliath, who he had just been staring at, looks around confused, somewhat angry, and falls forward on all fours, attempting to scream in pain as a pair of devilish wings burst from his back. His head looks up, ridges start to push forward in his cheeks and his forehead. His knees bend backwards like that of a canine, and he stands to his full height and stares directly at Zael. What? Find the witch, find the boy. And with a strong gust of wind, Teraketh launches straight up into the air. And off into the distance behind them, the sound of rending flesh and snapping bones are barely drown out the shuddering words of the chieftain. Thank you. And we'll see you guys Monday.